Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dead Draw Gaming versus Team Shuffle Squad. I am super excited to be joined here today by the one and only Jake Gearhart in my horrible lighting situation. Jake, in a much better lighting situation. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, happy to be here. But I'm a bit tired because I was up late watching the Champions League just for nothing to get revealed. So
No, they revealed the pack
yeah, the
art.
pack art. Yeah, that's great.
So we have a very stacked schedule for us here today. We're going to be starting very soon, so I'll try to just intro things very briefly. Again, this is a charity um, stream match. So we have two funds going. We have the DDG team fund and the Shovel Squad team fund. Basically, the winner of the team match will decide where the funds go to. Our charity for DDG will be the Healthy Gamer Foundation, and the charity for TSS will be the American Professional Society on the Abuse of Children. Definitely both great causes. We'll talk more about them later as we have time, but I think we're just going to get into the game pretty fast here. So we're going to go ahead and actually wait. Let me wait till he actually accepts the request. But really quickly, I'll just show the schedule for today. First up here, we got Jeremy Gumila versus Piper Lepine. This will be Gardevoir versus Lost Zone. But yeah, this is going to be Piper's feed for the game here. Again, Guardian matchup. Looks like Jeremy went first, won the coin flip. Um, what are your thoughts on this matchup for Guardy? Since you said it's kind of an interesting one and not super favorable for Piper here.
Yeah, without Sableye to pressure the Jirachi down and water energies for the Greninja to pressure Manaphy down. Like Gardevoir has so much bench space to work with, and while Piper has access to Roaring Moon EX and Moltres V to take one hit KOs on Gardevoir EX, that's like her and the Iron Hands to take an extra two prize turn. There's like nothing else really pressuring Jeremy to do anything with his board as long as he's able to keep up attacks against the two prize EXs. There's like nothing really Piper can do, and she doesn't have very good attacking options that she can just put up um, to try and offset the prize trade. So once it starts kind of going down, then two prizes are going to be swinging back and forth every turn, and usually Gardevoir is going to end up on top here. But it looks like Jeremy benched the Jirachi, so I'm not sure he's read Piper's list yet. So
Yeah,
the
this is
lists
open
are
deck list,
public.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Actually, he might be playing around an escape rope here, if because I
Sure,
assume
sure.
he has like nothing else in hand, but um, I can't tell if that Jirachi was grabbed off of his search card or just played down straight from hand.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think it was played from hand there. So definitely just playing around rope to be safe. Looking for doing some prize checking here for Piper. Um, Game plan seems very straightforward. The Iron Hands is already in play, which is cool, but also I don't even know if Piper's a switch ready to go or not. But hopefully he can get that out of the active. And then gonna try to get some Kofi's down. At least starting with the Colress in hand, always very nice, and this Nest Ball too. Gonna grab the Cramorant here. Does have the switch card, just the one though, and it looks like it's just going to vacuum the her own super effective glasses just to be able to get this Cramorant attack off.
Yep. Yeah, very efficient way to get the Cram attack off. Um,
Yeah, not the best start you typically want to see here for a loss on this, but at least this Colress lined up for turn two.
Yeah, Piper like really has no setup here, but at the same time, Jeremy doesn't have much on his side either. But that could all change with a Mirage step from the hand. Um, Look, with the Jirachi promote though, I'm thinking Jeremy's hand is is pretty dead here.
This is the battle of the dead hands. Very exciting stuff. While the while this is going on again, something's wrong with Jeremy's feed right now. So hopefully, for future games, this won't be an issue, or future games even in this series. Again, this is a best of three between every single round. So this is not going to be the only game. Even if they're both dead drawing here, we'll still probably see some more straightforward standard games pretty soon. I do want to mention, by the way, that we are doing giveaways every round for a Paldean Fates ETB, and we're also doing a giveaway at the final round at the end of everything for a CGC 10 Charizard Black Star promo Charizard EX. So if you're interested in that, definitely stick around. If you want to participate in this round's giveaway, be sure to type in the chat exclamation point ticket. You have until the end of the round to type it. Once you type it, you're good to go. You don't have to type it again. Exclamation point ticket. One word, don't space it or anything.
Yeah, CGC 10 Charizard. That sounds pretty expensive.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. Very exciting.
um, yeah, it looks like Jeremy's not doing anything here. Just counter-countering up the Iron Hands and hoping it sticks, and going for the charge
Yeah.
energy on the Jirachi.
And I mean, it will stick here if if this Colress doesn't get a switch out. So pretty funny. At least got a Curlia down. It's not the Curlia you want to put down here, but at least it's something. And looks like all Jeremy can do here is just actually use the charge energy attack, which you pretty much never want to have to use as a Gardevoir player.
Yeah, it's actually ironically not the worst attack if you start with it against something like Roaring Moon or Charizard, where you can use it on the first turn and then go into the Mirage Step on the next turn.
Oh, this rope
But
is
at the
going to
same
be
time, yeah,
really
that rope is
dangerous.
pretty good. I think ideally Piper here would have liked to hit actually a vacuum plus a tool card off of that Colress, and then like a Mirage Gate and just go straight into the Iron Hands. But this isn't bad either. Just getting the attack off at this point is and killing the only curly in play is
Exactly, yeah.
pretty
Just
good.
getting rid of this
Yeah.
Curly is just going to be almost putting Jeremy just too far behind at this point. This Gardevoir deck
Yeah,
really
I
needs
think
the Gardevoir engine running. You really need your Ralts, your Curly as your Guardies ready to go, ready to roll, and you have to evolve, and evolving takes time. And I don't know if Jeremy can buy that time without counter capturing Iron Hands more.
I think luckily at this point, Jeremy still has like one turn where he can set up. If he can get Ralts down this turn, and then next turn Candy Gardevoir and start
Yeah,
attacking,
yeah,
um, then he'll be able to deal with that Iron Hands, assuming it gets set up. But if Piper is not able to get the Iron Hands set up this turn, then Jeremy has a chance here because Piper will end up on odd prize cards, so the Iron Hands will still need 2 attacks to win the game. But if the Iron Hands does get set up this turn, then it's pretty much game over.
it did get Iono'd out of Escape Rope, which would have once again just kind of accelerated the game. It does have Seal Stone, so could just Seal Stone for Escape Rope, which seems pretty silly. But it looks like the Iron Hands is probably going to come down fairly soon here.
Yeah, a Seal Stone for Escape Rope is pretty powerful this turn. Even just attacking with the arm press on the Iron Hands is good
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, for sure.
Um, but I think she might not be going for the rope play unless she's planning to go into oh yeah, into the Mew EX. There's a free retreater, so that does work and gets extra card draw.
Yep, might as well. Using that Mew EX's restart ability lets you draw up to 3 cards once per turn. Very powerful, very useful. Especially a deck like this where you can kind of just burn your hand fairly often, as long as you're not building up too big of a hand. And that Seal Stone's getting popped. And oh, well, there is no.
Oh.
Oh, she played to the second rope last turn, I guess.
Yeah, if she only plays 2 rope, then that Ralts is safe on the bench. But there is 3 rope in the deck list, so one must be
Must be
prized.
prized, yeah. So it's
So
technically a
unfortunately,
chance.
not a game over yet.
Yeah, that
But
Mirage Gate will lock in the Iron Hands amp you very much though, which will put Jeremy just in a tremendously tough position.
yeah, if she wants it. But I think it looks like she's going to be content with the cram attack, saving the gates for later, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think the pressure from the Iron Hands here would be like too good to pass up, because this gives Jeremy 2 more turns to work with. Whereas if she was able to power up the Iron Hands this turn, he would have no time,
Yeah.
just with the 1 turn to deal with it.
And it looks like Piper agrees and is going to go ahead and Super Rod, get his energies back, and then immediately Mirage Gate. And that's all of her energy remaining in play once this happens.
Yeah, I think she prized a couple. But yeah, hopefully she can fish those out, the prize cards, as well as the escape rope in case a counter catcher comes down and tries to trap anything.
Right.
But there's not really anything on the bench that can't be trapped at this point, so long as she does hit that energy. And there's obviously more switch cards in the deck
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, she still has 3 left in the deck, so pretty high odds to get it. And also has Thornton, so could potentially Thornton if any Pokemon ever hit the discard pile.
Yep, that works. We'll see a last ditch shiny Arcana here. Maybe it can hit double energy, and then no, it need to hit like 3 energies to be good here, and sadly, that's not possible.
Right, yeah, with only one Shiny Arcana. Again, that Shiny Arcana ability, very similar to the Curlier Refinement, except if you find any Psychic Energies when you draw those cards, you can at least attach them however you wish. So it's a pretty powerful way to kind of get some attachments down without having to put damage counters down or having to put Gardevoir EX in play. But you cannot KO Iron Hands with that little energy. So even with a reversal energy.
Yeah, only 5 energy total wouldn't be the knockout. Maybe if Jeremy finds 1 hit plus a reversal energy plus counter catcher, he can knock out the Mew EX and try to stay in the game that way. But the arm press from the Iron Hands is going to be good enough to knock out the Gardevoir regardless. So
All right.
yeah, we just see the concession.
Yep, going to be a concede from Jeremy. So that'll be 1-0 for Piper. Again, this is a best of 3, so it's not over yet. Still plenty of time for uh, this matchup that's supposed to be unfavorable for Piper to actually play out the way that you were saying it'll probably play out.
Yeah, Jeremy's start was really, really bad there.
Yeah.
If he was able to find that Mirage Step instead of the refinement curly, he would have been perfectly fine in that game. Especially since Piper couldn't get that turn 2 Iron Hands, was needed like 3 or 4 turns to set it up there. But that was just enough for this game, even more than was needed because of how many free turns Jeremy ended up giving Piper.
Yeah, this might, if this ends up being a quick 2-0, make sure you get your exclamation point ticket in the chat quickly for entering the giveaway for a Pavilion Fates ETB. We'll do that every round. So definitely do that. And while we're setting up here, big shout out to our sponsors, CutterTap, cuttertap.com. If you want to see cool articles by people like Jake, they're over there. There's also Dual Spec by Procyon Gaming. They just released a bunch of new sleeves. Go check them out. And then Aligarta events for helping with a lot of the tech setup for this. So thank you very much.
Looking at Piper's hand here isn't the best, but it's gonna be fine assuming she goes second,
Yeah,
which I assume Jeremy is chosen first as the Gardevoir player, losing that first game. But yeah, no comfies in hand isn't ideal, but the 2 mulligans, they didn't help either.
definitely doesn't
Um,
help. The Greninja Mirror Match Showdown, very exciting. Let's see if Jeremy can get anything better here. Okay, 2 rolls, positive improvement. We love to see it.
One thing that could happen here, it'd be very difficult, is if Piper gets 7 cards in the Lost Zone on this first turn, she can use Mew EX's genome hacking to copy Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken and knock
Mm-hmm.
out both of those Ralts. And that would set her up in a position to definitely win this game. And all the pieces are in there. She'd need to find a bunch of comfies and switching cards and lost vacuums,
Yeah,
but it's possible, and with the 4 Sealstone in hand, it helps even
for sure.
more. And this town store finding an extra card to put in the lost zone with the lost vacuum.
Yeah, definitely tricky to hit that 7, but the pieces are kind of lined up for her, so it's just a matter of how well these Colruses work out. We can see the first one here pretty shortly. All right, that first Colress going down. This seems pretty solid. VIP gets the Voltress V potentially, but looks like he's just going to use the VIP to get a Moltres or some other V Pokemon. It's just Moltres in this list, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moltres is the only V. Yeah, so I guess you can't use that 4 Sealstone anymore, which is very unfortunate.
There's not 2 in the list. It's just the one.
No, I just see, yeah, one Moltres V in the list, and
Okay,
that's the only V.
gotcha. So it looks like Piper's not even worried about that play at all, and just putting that kind of outside of the realm of possibility. And it's just going to go for a normal cram attack.
Yeah, theoretically, it's still possible if she's able to draw into the lost vacuum, but I think she'll be content with a KO on a Ralts here, which is almost there with the Cramorant, but she does have to find a way to move the last Comfy after she plays the escape rope.
Yep. See if she can find it off these flower selectings. Otherwise, she's just going to end up helping out Jeremy and getting a Ralts in the active for an easy Mirage Step next turn.
Yeah, that's another good point that the Greninja was trapped active. So, well, I guess with this switch card, it pays off
Yeah.
in the end. But she's going for another Comfy though, so not straight into the Cramorant. Maybe she's content with not taking the first prize and going straight into Iron Hands next turn. Um, I'm not sure though. I would have liked to see either that Greninja gets stuck active, so Jeremy's turn is less impactful, or the KO with the Cramorant.
hmm
I think digging to 7 there was, or digging to 5 cards in the Lost Zone there was a bit risky.
Wait, how? What was it? 5? Because it was
Oh,
Forest Comfy
4.
Comfy, right?
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's
Okay,
because
yeah.
there's
So
no
yeah,
lost
yeah,
vacuum.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
and
had to. She had to dig with it. We got the first donation from Ryan Kelly, who of DDG fame. Thank you very much, Ryan, for the first donation, and we kind of hit the goal already. Cool. So let me up the goal. I'm not sure how long it'll take to reflect on the overlay, but it should reflect fairly soon. But at least the alerts worked, so that's nice. Thank you so much, Ryan, for donating. Again, we are raising money for the Healthy Gamer Foundation. They are dedicated to helping the gaming community and young people globally to lead happier, healthier lives. Traditional mental health resources are too slow, too expensive, and don't relate to young people as well moving through a digital world. And with the money they raise, they fund research grants, second chance grants, and advanced policy towards more comprehensive mental health solutions. If you want more information, check out healthygamerfoundation.org.
so see an aggressive turn to Gardevoir here. If Jeremy's able to find the Scream Tail or even just attack with the Gardevoir this turn, it wouldn't be too bad, though. Attacking with the Gardevoir is pretty risky considering there is the Roaring Moon EX in Piper's list. And while the Moltres is gone, that Roaring Moon is still able to 1-hit KO the Gardevoir EX.
Oh, I see the issue. I know to fix the donation bar. Let me go ahead and do that really quickly.
The Mirage Step getting pitched away because all the Ralts have been evolved. I think I would have liked to see Jeremy play a more passive route and build up Curlia's, because right here, if that Gardevoir EX goes down here, or even a Screamtail, like he'll only be left with one Refinement and one Ralts that could be evolved. And this matchup is all about chaining Ionos from the Gardevoir side.
Right.
You've got to make up time at some point, and if you give Piper access to all her Gust effects and Mirage Gates and everything, then Piper will be able to clean out the game. But if the Ionos start coming down, then that makes it much more difficult.
For sure. Yeah, it looks like a much more normal game here for Jeremy this time. So should be a much more standard match. Very very exciting compared to last game.
We see the level will grab another Ralts there instead of something like the Screamtail. So I guess, yeah, it's going in with the Gardevoir EX here,
Yep.
which is very risky. Yeah, that could easily get knocked out by the Roaring Moon
Yeah.
in exchange for one prize card, and you lose a full Gardevoir line. Um, oh,
Oh
okay, I
no.
guess he's
Yeah.
just retreating and passing. Yeah, this is all right as well, but just to get more attackers into play. And the Manaphy has to come down to protect from the Mew EX. Even though Piper doesn't play any water energy, the Mew EX could still copy the Moonlight Shuriken and knock out Ralts and Curlia.
Right. Right. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Jeremy was just feeling more comfortable going for the Gardevoir EX attack, knowing that Moltres just got into the Lost Zone and there's no Roaring Moon down. But still very easy to pull that off potentially for Piper. So just taking it safe there. Playing your favorite card, your new favorite card, Moonlit Hill.
Yeah, I think Moonlit Hill's pretty good against most Lost Box decks, but there's no Sableye in here, so
Right.
and only the one Cramorant to worry about. Most of the attacks are going to be one-hit knockouting the Gardevoir players' Pokemon, regardless of how much HP they have. Healing up to like full HP on a Shining Arcana is pretty powerful because that gets it out of Iron Hand's range. But doing that is somewhat difficult. So um, yeah, I'm not sure if I like the early put down of the Moonlit Hill though, because Piper has the opportunity to Lost Vacuum it here, and if Jeremy had kept it in the hand, there's nothing Piper could do to take it out because Piper doesn't play Iono. It's just the one copy of Roxanne for hand disruption. So Jeremy kind of just giving himself less options on the next turn um, for not really any benefit. But yeah, and then we see the Lost Vacuum coming down. This either hits the Forest Seal Stone if she needs more cards in the Lost Zone, or that Moonlit Hill. And yeah, we do see that Moonlit Hill. So Jeremy getting punished for putting it out early.
Yeah, and that's the only one on the list too, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
There might be two. I can't remember. Let me check, see if I can find that out.
Curly is evolving. Reversal going down on the Greninja just for retreat purposes. Also, sorry about the game feed, everybody. It looks like it's probably just Piper alt tabbing to write notes and whatnot. Um, like I said, the other game feed's not working at the moment, unfortunately, but I can just actually double check on that, make sure it's still not working. But yeah, so going to see some refinements come down for Jeremy here, trying to get the board rolling, get more and more psychics into this card because the discard's looking pretty thin so far, but hopefully get more and more in there.
Yeah, it does look like there are two Moonlit Hills
There
in
are,
Jeremy's
okay.
list. So he has access to a second one, but having access to two uh to back heal that refinement or the shiny arcana Curlia before or Gardevoir before it comes up and attacks would have been useful. So yeah, that the loss of that first one is pretty impactful. But at the same time, Piper was forced to pass on her last turn and do
Yeah.
nothing while Gardevoir just sets up. So giving Gardevoir this much time before taking any prize cards is very dangerous. I think Piper's almost sort of locked out of options here.
Mm-hmm.
Once the Shiny Arcana comes down and starts getting energy attached to it, like the Iron Hands needs to be her first attack here and to just take two prize cards every turn, but it's going to be very difficult through Iono.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a decent chance that Iron Hands still survives this turn because no prize is taken for Piper, so no counter catcher possibility at least. Um, but yeah, did she play the professors this turn or was that last turn? I can't remember. But the Iron Hand should be safe. But yeah, once it does go into the active, it will just immediately get knocked out the next turn. At this rate, so kind of scary here, and not going to put Piper far enough ahead in advance. Not in the position you kind of need to be against Gardevoir with this glasses lost box.
Yeah, I don't even think Jeremy needs to attack here. I think
Mm-hmm.
ideally Jeremy can just sit back and load up energies on that Shiny Arcana Gardevoir, and hitting energy off of that is definitely welcome. To get that Gardevoir so it's at full HP by the time it attacks, and force Piper to take the initiative so that your reversal energies work. But it looks like Jeremy is going aggressive here. He's loading up the Shining Arcana. Maybe he has that second Moonlit Hill to be able to heal it back to effectively full HP. There'll be 10 damage on it, but that 10 damage doesn't matter. Um, but it looks like that Moonlit Hill's not coming down, so unfortunately, Jeremy could have had an undamaged Gardevoir here, but he's going to have one that is in range of the Iron Hands
Mm-hmm.
and the Cramorant.
Yeah, it makes it a pretty easy target for the Iron Hands, assuming Piper can get that play. Piper not in the best hand situation, does at least have the Pokegear, so as long as the Colress is grabbed, probably can get that charged up. And top decks the Mirage Gate, very useful here. Is going to start off with the concealed cards, getting rid of these extra dark energies. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Nest Ball.
she'll need to find a second Mirage Gate at some point, or maybe hit that Raihan, depending on how many cards she has in the Lost Zone now,
Yeah, it looks like
in
she'll
order
need
to
Super
power up
Rod
those Iron
too if she
Hands.
wants to Iron Hands. Looks like all the energy's gone.
Yeah, not much in deck.
Yeah, I didn't see
Two switch
exactly how
cards
much for
definitely
zoned.
helps here. Um,
between Gift and Roaring Moon is going to get rid of the Roaring Moon. So both Dark Attackers now gone for Piper.
Yeah, I think this is a really bad position for Piper. Now that Gardevoir EX becomes a threat, she has no way to deal with it. Eventually, like the end of the game, even if Piper is able to prize race effectively, that comes down the Raihan and gets all the energy she needs. Um, at the point when Piper has 2 prize cards left, uh, or even 1 prize card, Jeremy can put up that Gardevoir EX to just soak a hit, and there's nothing really Piper can do about it unless she finds an escape rope or a boss's orders. But Jeremy can play to a position where he has just a Shiny Arcana on the bench without any damage on it, so that when the escape rope gets played, Piper's not really doing anything to it.
Right. We are seeing the Ampy very much. There's a Gift Energy on it, but it's not going to be relevant because Piper will have more than 7 cards in her hand. And then, yeah, hope just basically just hoping this doesn't get knocked out immediately here, but it almost certainly is with just the amount of draw power on board and psychics in the discard and whatnot.
Yeah, the gift energy is actually pretty decent here because
Oh,
I'm
Iono,
assuming
yeah.
Piper's hand is going to get disrupted at this point.
Right, right,
She'll
right.
be able to draw back up to 7. Um, Super odd getting played from Jeremy. This could indicate that he's prized a piece that he's looking for, like the Shiny Arcana, but it's likely he's just trying to redraw into those Gardevoir pieces off an Iono that he's about to play.
And yeah, I believe that was Piper's last rod. There might be one prized, but that was the last one in her deck at that time. Does have 3 energy in hand though, so I guess if it gets Iono, then that kind of helps fix that problem. But seeing more refinements come down for Jeremy, getting rid of useless cards like VIP Pass, getting more psychics in the discard. Should have plenty of psychics now to do pretty much whatever he needs to do.
Yeah, so we'll probably see Shiny Arcana Gardevoir, ideally with a reversal energy. The ideal state for Jeremy here is to get the reversal energy, 3 energy on, and then heal off some damage with the Moonlit Hill to put him out of range of the Cramorant, but he'll need to hit a Shiny Arcana for that to work. With only 12 cards in deck, he might be able to uh, know if he should play the Iono before or after the Shiny Arcana, try to shuffle energies that might be in his hand back into the deck. But yeah, that's the ideal state that Jeremy can play for, but he doesn't necessarily need to hit it. Just getting the knockout here would be enough, because without Stabilize or the option for Moonlight Shuriken,
Mm-hmm.
there's like nothing really pressuring him to take prize cards so quickly and avoid getting knocked out in return.
Chad is saying 2 reversals are already gone. One was that Greninja retreat from earlier. I remember that.
Oh, a second one in the discard, yeah. So yeah, then he won't be able to stay out of range of the attacks, but that probably doesn't matter because, like I said, there's no Sableye in the list
Right.
for Piper. So
All right. The game feed was dancing for a second. All good. 6 psychic in the discard with those reversals in there as well. He's going to start psychic embracing now. If there's no Iono that comes down, then that does put Roxanne as a possibility for Piper this turn. But might need to play a different sport though. We'll see.
yeah, I think if there are all of those super odds down, then Piper really has not very many options here because she really
Right.
wants to recover the Iron Hands and throw it up again and try to use that attack. But if she's going to be forced to Cramorant, that's just more time that Jeremy has to stabilize and get more Gardevoir lines into play.
Mm-hmm. So there comes the brainwave, knocking out the Iron Hands. And yeah, with no rods, the only option to bring that back is Thornton. So again, super unlikely. Didn't get hand disrupted there, so it does have Thornton and Roxanne in hand, but no Mirage Gate. So I don't think we're gonna see a Thornton this turn. Does just immediately promote the Cramorant. So it looks like Piper is eyeing up just the Cramorant smack here, and then hopefully build up an Iron Hands option for next turn.
Yeah, with the amount of draw on Jeremy's board. He actually doesn't have all that much once this Gardevoir goes downhill. Only have the one Refinement and the one Greninja as well. And the Roxanne shuffling cards rather than drawing them is potentially more detrimental to Jeremy here because we know we saw that Refinement Curly get shuffled back into the deck. So ideally for him, that would still be in the deck, but the Roxanne instead of the Iono means that it's going to be randomly distributed throughout the deck. So we'll see if he's able to get the second Curlia. But even an attack from the Gardevoir EX here would be like there's not much Piper can do. She needs to set up 2 attackers to deal with this Gardevoir EX,
Right.
just taking a prize every turn.
Yeah, did at least get the gears back, so looks like she's gonna try to throw in that Greninja potentially into an Iron Hands later, but no gates still available right now. Did put 2 of the energy back in the deck as well, only drew into the grass off the Roxanne. So those options are available. We're seeing the second embraces go down to the Gardevoir EX. Looks like he's debating if he's going to attach the other ones right now or if he's just going to retreat.
Yeah, I think
And yeah,
attacking with the Gardevoir EX here is probably the best
for
option
sure.
because it prevents Piper uh, from Jeremy's perspective. He doesn't know that there would be Super Rod prize, so it prevents Piper from going super odd, attack with Cramorant, knock out whatever Jeremy attacked with into an Iron Hands to clean out the game, maybe with a boss's orders. But this forces Piper to go through this Gardevoir EX first or find the escape rope like she has in hand.
Right.
But if the escape rope is played and it's just the Cramorant that comes down, the Greninja can come up and soak a hit. And then Jeremy's draw engine is all fully intact. And he's able to thin more cards with the refinements. But he chooses to evolve the bench Gardevoir. I'm not sure I like this play because I think the draw is really the important thing here for him to set up all the attackers he needs for the rest of the game. The Super Rod could always push up the Greninja, so this does play around a potential Iron Hands plus Escape Rope,
Right.
but hitting all that is difficult to say the least.
Yeah. Extremely difficult right now. Seeing another energy attachment go on to that Greninja. Does have the Thorin in hand, but needs Gate still to try to get anything going. And I think, yeah, it doesn't even have the lightning energy, so they can't really Thorin this turn without that rod.
Yeah, if there's no lightning energy in deck,
Oh, no, there
then
is. Okay,
there's
okay.
the one. So Piper here can play all the cards in her hand and then Thornton, that Greninja, just leave the VIP pass as the last card. I failed both these Poke Gears, and then try to Thornton that Greninja into the Iron Hands after drawing a Lightning Energy off the Mew EX.
Sure.
But there's nothing for Iron Hands to attack into here because Jeremy put up that second Gardevoir.
Right. So, yeah, Piper grabbing the Colress instead of just failing the Pokegears is probably going to throw down that Colress this turn. Does get the boss here, but
Yeah,
unfortunately
but
doesn't really have anything to attack with
at the
to claim
cost of a
that.
gate too is
Yeah, tough.
very unfortunate.
And it
I
looks like,
think
yeah,
this
she's going to take it.
this pretty much locks her out of the game. I don't think she has a way to set up enough attackers to win. She needed the
Yep.
boss's orders, but yeah, there's really nothing she can do here besides Thornton the Iron Hands back and
Let's go.
hope it does something. Theoretically, if Jeremy for some reason can't get the Curlia evolved, then maybe next turn Iron Hands can go knock out the Ralts, and then there won't be anything for Jeremy to knock out the Iron Hands back with in return. But even just a boss's orders or Zacian V would be enough.
For sure. And yeah, we are for those asking in chat, we are at the mercy of the streaming quality of the players themselves here. It's going to be variable probably throughout the day. Piper's playing on a Mac here, which is causing the dancing movement of the screen, but hopefully for later matches we can get a little bit clearer stream quality. And again, a reminder, doing giveaways every round for our Paldean Fates ETB. So if you want to get entered into that, as Piper concedes this game, and we go to game 3. Definitely type exclamation point ticket in chat if you want a chance to win a Paldean Fates ETB. We'll do a giveaway every round. Exclamation point ticket, no spaces.
Yeah, so I think Piper here is gonna be hoping for another scenario like game 1 where Jeremy just bricks, because we saw exactly what happens when Gardevoir actually sets up, and
Yeah,
even Jeremy's setup in this game was a bit slow, so, yeah, even matching a slow setup with a fast-ish setup on Piper's side, though she did miss, the early cram KO, um, matching matching slow with slow doesn't even get it for her. Um, so yeah, it'll have to be a fast start from the Lost Box, a slow start from the Gardevoir, and then maybe Piper will have a chance. Uh, she'd definitely like to to see a donk or something here, but
right.
you can see why this matchup is pretty rough for Lost Box without Sableye and Greninja to pressure all those Manaphy and Jirachi on the bench to take up space.
Yeah, at least being able to steal game one like that was very useful here and does give Piper a very real chance to still walk away with this series. Gonna see a mulligan come down here, maybe more, just the one. Hopefully has a better hand this time. All right, and pretty solid going second hand. Although I don't know if, yeah, this is her loss, so she might have chosen first. I didn't see. No, okay, still going second. We'll be able to call rest immediately and hopefully get some good cards here. On Jeremy's end, leading off with the Fog Crystal, getting either Psychic Energy or a basic Psychic Pokemon. We'll see what he grabs here in just a moment. Side note, casting PTCG Live is so hard, dude. Not being able to just like easily see like the discard and stuff is tough. I mean, you have the same issue IRL, but I feel like things don't fly as fast IRL when people look through their hands or their discards or whatever. And the Lost Zone also just being completely invisible is so tough.
Yeah, Lost Box players often like fan out their discard and Lost Zone so you can see kind of what's going on,
Yeah,
or roughly see how many energies are in a Gardevoir player's discard pile as they like all sort them into the back. Um, but without that, it's difficult.
yeah,
We do see a retreat into the Mew here, which is signals that Jeremy's hand is probably pretty weak here. Because ideally he wants to go for the Mirage Step on turn 2, but this almost locks him out of it because he has to retreat and attach in the same turn. So he'd have to find a rare candy Gardevoir just to be able to Mirage Step on the next turn. Unless Piper plays the escape rope, which he might be forced to, because her hand is not too good here. The Colress, like it could find a VIP ideally, and then get Greninja involved and draw some more cards, and then maybe end the turn with a Cramorant attack would be ideal. But if she can avoid, if she isn't able to pull off an attack, then avoid playing the escape rope would be ideal here to lock out the Mirage Step.
right. Much better board state than game one here for Jeremy. And we're going to see the Colress slam down here for Piper. Rod, Raihan, Mew. Gonna immediately get rid of the Raihan and the Mew. The Rod being, the Raihan and the Mew. Rod being super valuable here, obviously, as we've seen multiple times in game two, is going to prioritize keeping that. Going to get rid of the town store on that. Does not get another VIP or anything, but does get that Comfey from that first Colress, so it's going to throw down the rope and hopefully dig a little bit harder here. Jeremy promoting the Greninja from the rope, so even if Cramorant does come down, nothing will really happen. Easy
Yeah, this
decision there.
is a very interesting decision, though. I think a lot of the time you do want to promote the roll to just give up the knockout in order
Yeah,
to secure your Mirage Step.
yeah,
But putting up the Greninja means there's going to be no Mirage Step on the next turn. So Jeremy's setup's going to be considerably weaker. And then he might have a hard time dealing with the Iron Hands. So we'll probably see two Refinement Curlia come down, get evolved, draw some cards, an Iono come down or something.
yeah.
But that'll only be two Gardevoir in play to deal with the Iron Hands. He'll have to find the extra Ralts as well on this next turn. Um, and the Greninja is obviously weak to Iron Hands, so even though it's active here, it's not going to be safe from Iron Hands on the next turn.
Right. And we see that Iron Hands come down with the Greninja from the VIP pass. A lot of energies in hand for Piper is going to start concealing some cards and do a manual attachment to the Iron Hands. And looks like that's going to be end of Piper's turn. Do you think like it does promoting the Greninja here kind of just signal like a really weak hand then, and just not being like, hey, I'm probably not going to be able to Mirage Step this turn. Um, What do you
Yeah,
think?
potentially. It also could mean that he's got a bunch of refinement Kirlias in his hands, in which case he wouldn't be able to Mirage Step
Right.
regardless. So we see the one come down right away. So maybe that signals that's the case. Um, but yeah, definitely no Mirage Step coming down, which Piper is very happy about seeing.
Hmm.
And if Piper is able to just chain two prize card attacks for a little while with the Iron Hands, then she can definitely end up winning this game. And I don't think Jeremy's been able to get more than one psychic energy in the discard pile at this point. So he's still got to build up to the three plus the find the reversal energy to deal with Iron Hands.
Right.
If he can get down the reversal energy on the Curly at this turn, that would be really good because he has the potential to find the second reversal energy and just knock out the Iron Hands with no damage from the double reversal. That's probably the strongest play that he can play
For
for.
sure. Yeah, the hand didn't look that weak there, so maybe Mirage Step Curly was just prized. Definitely a possibility on Jeremy's end because he had the level ball in hand, had a worker to draw more cards. But yeah, we're seeing that reversal attach, and looks like lining up that play that you just mentioned for next turn.
Yep, that would be very ideal. So Piper has Piper has to hit a Colress off this poke gear plus the concealed cards to do anything really. But Piper also has the option of like waiting another turn and trying to boss up that Curlia, but I think that's just too slow at that point. The Zacian bench is really interesting here.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe he's just loading up more energy on that refinement Curlia, trying to get it undamaged. On the Greninja, though, that's interesting because we're assuming that this Greninja is going down, and if it's not going down, Jeremy's probably content with just sitting back and evolving for another
Right,
turn.
right. Yeah, so now this play is lined up for Piper to just Iron Hands knock out this Greninja without having to do any extra work. Gonna take the Seal Stone there with a VIP for obvious reasons. Maybe we'll see that actually get used this game if that Moltres does come down. Grabbing the Thorin off the Pokegear and is gonna start probably retreating here. Does have the Vacuum as well, so if needed, can just attach the Seal Stone and vacuum it immediately in order to hit 7 for the Mirage Gate to activate.
Yep, and I think that's probably what's going to happen here because Piper needs two more cards in the Lost Zone, so
Mm-hmm.
the vacuum will get her there. What to vacuum away is going to be a tough choice because all the cards in the hand right now are pretty good. Um, I think it's maybe has to be the Thornton. As much as she'd like to keep that around,
Yeah, that's
um,
tough.
yeah, every card in the hand, every other card in the hand looks too good to get rid of. Uh,
Potentially considering that
because
Darkness Energy because you do have plenty of those in deck anyway. Um, and it looks like she's going to go for that. Values the Thorin more than the one Darkness Energy, and that'll give her 7 to the Lost Zone, and we're going to see his Mirage Gates come down.
Yep, probably see the 4 energy come down on the Iron Hands and then 1 on the Comfy to make it a pivot for later in the game. And yeah, this is ideally what Piper wants is for this exact scenario where Jeremy misses the Mirage Step, his board's a bit weaker, and then she's able to go start off her first attack with the Ampy very much on the Greninja or
Mm-hmm.
whatever would be in the active. And then if the Iron Hands is not able to be responded with, she's definitely in a good position to win the game. But if Jeremy can respond, then it's going to be very tough. Piper already down 2 gates, obviously from powering up the Iron Hands
Yeah,
and some energy into the Lost Zone. So this is really the most important turn in the game
for sure.
in this matchup is whether or not Jeremy's able to get this knockout on the Iron Hands.
Yeah, and big prize draw for Piper getting that Super Rod back. So at least being able to potentially Iron Hands follow up next turn is a possibility now. Because I think there was just barely not enough. No, there was technically enough energy in deck because I think there was one Lightning, 2 Dark, and then one other card. But the Rod just makes things a lot easier in case things are drawn into next turn. Seeing that Shining Arcana Gardevoir come down now. We'll see if we can get that easy response to the Iron Hands here. Needs to get either, like you said, second reversal, Gardevoir EX, etc.
Yeah, it'd have to be a rare candy Gardevoir combo because the well, but there's the second reversal, and
There you
I think that almost locks up the game at this point. Because what is
go.
Piper gonna do from here? There's a 140 HP thing that just knocked out your Iron Hands. Piper plays no way to one shot it.
Yeah,
That's not a two prizer, and that would be throwing the prize trade to Jeremy's favor 100%,
yeah,
putting something like the Roaring Moon in play. So maybe her ideal turn here is like boss a Geralt and spit innocently to knock it out, then get more time to reset up. I'm not sure. There's really no good options for Piper
yeah.
here. It
Such a scary situation. Can't even Roxanne next turn because it's still out of range for that. And like even if you try to boss around this Gardevoir, it's still there charged up with two reversals and is gonna just destroy anything else that you put into play. So super scary situation. And when I know you're uh, usually you're pretty scared of the Iron Hands, but if you can follow it up and clean it up so easily like this, and even doing an Iono here for more disruption is it puts you in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, Piper's deck isn't really able to get the turn one Iron Hands off very consistently. So turn two Iron Hands is much less scary, especially from a deck going second, because you'll always have one turn to evolve all your Curlias, and usually that's enough to the point where you can respond to the Iron Hands. And we saw, despite Jeremy's slower setup without the Mirage Step, he's able to get the double reversal KO and yeah, put Piper almost out of the game entirely at this point. Um, yeah, I think there is one now, but there's no Greninja on the bench to take advantage of. I was thinking of potentially like the Mew EX could copy Moonlight Shuriken, but there's the Greninja got knocked out by the Iron Hand, so that's not even an
Right.
option.
Jeez. And well, the Mew got zoned too, turn one.
Yep.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. But yeah, we're just gonna see a Cramorant smack on this Gardevoir. It looks like.
Yeah, so well, Jeremy doesn't have like an easy way to respond knock out the Cramorant. It just gives him way more time to set up his board, which is all he really needs here.
Benching that Moltres, using a Dire Flame to potentially charge it up for next turn. Countercatcher won't be active at least, so it should be relatively safe. But pretty easy to draw more cards here for Jeremy with 3 Ralts ready to evolve.
Yeah, so even if Jeremy just passes on this turn or uses that Roar of the Sword to get more energy in play, I think that might be what he wants to do here, just to activate that counter catcher, be able to knock out the Moltres right away, stay on an even prize race, avoid potentially going into Roxanne territory a turn early. So yeah, you can see the flexibility with Gardevoir just has so much time, and yeah, Turo also can heal that Gardevoir to get an extra draw from the Mew and save the Gardevoir pieces. The reversal energies are sad to lose, but you don't really need them anymore. They paid off stopping that Kramer attack.
Yeah, so chat's asking about switching sides. Normal that will be possible for future rounds. For some reason, Jeremy's feed is just not working at the moment. Um, so for future rounds, it should not be an issue though. But for this game, we'll be stuck with just Piper's side of the field.
And a 14 card hand, Jeremy definitely has every option that he could want.
Pretty much.
Um, so yeah, I guess it does look he's going aggressive here, which could potentially backfire if Piper is able to get a boss Moltres KO on the Gardevoir
Mm-hmm.
EX. Um, Whereas if that Gardevoir EX wasn't in play, Piper would have like no way to take two prize cards this next turn. So this actually might give Piper a route to win this game. Um, Now that the Gardevoir EX is in play, Piper can find a boss's orders, knock out the Gardevoir EX with Moltres, and then Moltres gets knocked out in return by something that has damage on it, and then
Mm-hmm.
Iron Hands cleans that up for game. Um, but also, it's possible for Piper to get a second Gardevoir EX to respond to the Moltres fee, but the Moltres has to take, or because the Moltres has to take 30 damage after using its attack. But at the same time, recovering the Moltres isn't that difficult, especially because it attaches energies to itself. So I'm definitely not sure on that Gardevoir EX play on this turn. I think it would have been maybe better just to wait until you have more time. Give Piper one more prize card,
Hmm.
and then maybe put the Gardevoir EX in play on a turn where you can use that Turo to pick it up right away, to lock Piper out of that boss option. So we saw Jeremy heal that Gardevoir, the Shiny Arcana, this turn in order to get off this Screamtail attack, but he could have just passed the turn, given up the prize card, had no week two prizes in play, only that Zacian V, which could get responded to by the Roaring Moon, but that'd be a lot more difficult than powering up the Moltres V. And at that point, Piper would be on odd prize cards, so she still needs two attacks to win, and then Jeremy would be able to knock out the Moltres right away. And so right here, like Jeremy's using an attack that he doesn't necessarily need to use. It's nice in that he gets the option to take a one prize KO after knocking out this Moltres. But if we assume that Piper's going to try and take two prize cards each turn, it means that she's always going to have a two prizer in play.
Right, right. Yeah, scary situation for sure. That Roxanne is playable here. Um, does look like Piper is going to load up that Moltres. Didn't get the boss. Does she have counter catcher?
I believe she does have one copy of Counter Catcher.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
it
and
is.
there
All right.
we see it.
All right.
Um, oh no, wait. Okay, I guess this also works.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could have gone for the escape rope counter catcher, knock out the Gardevoir EX, um, but knocking out a refinement Curly here is pretty important because this really destroys Jeremy's draw engine. He has no options.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, the Celebrations Mew is the only thing that can find him more cards, and it doesn't find him the most important card that he wants, which is Iono. So maybe he'll be able to find an out to Refinement Curlia and try and draw with that. But having less options to draw with is definitely more difficult.
For sure.
Um, so yeah, I think Jeremy going aggressive there is getting punished by the Roxanne, the counter catcher. Um, well, he could have had a turn to build up his board more. He's now in a position where he has to find more pieces to stay alive.
Right.
Like he can obviously get the KO on the Comfy on the bench with that Screamtail, and then he's only a boss away from winning the game. But there's only one boss in Gardevoir decks, and the counter catcher wouldn't be active for a little while longer.
Gets a rare candy out that mysterious tail. Probably not exactly what Jeremy wanted to see there. We are on round one. This is game three. So this is going to be the end of round one after this. And again, a reminder for everyone coming in late, if you want to join in on the Paldean Fates ETB giveaway, type exclamation point ticket in chat. Do one every round. Uh, it's going to be the last free retreat for that Mew, because without a Moonlight Hill at least. And
Yeah, and
then,
if the Moonlight
yeah.
Hill comes down, healing that Screamtail would be unfortunate, assuming it survives. But I
Looks like we're
think,
just going to see a Screamtail Comfey attack then.
yeah, I think I'd like to see Jeremy go for the KO on the Cramorant with the Screamtail to force Piper to find more things this turn. Um, it's not that difficult to find like a response to the Screamtail or the boss's orders this turn,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's just one more piece that she has to find, and it also gives her on the flip side, it does give her access to the Comfy right away if Jeremy
Sure.
knocks out the
Yep.
Cramorant. So that's a consideration
I
where
imagine that's
Piper
what
would
he's
be able
thinking
to
through
promote
right
it.
now is trying to weigh these options. It looks like he is going to go for the Comfey play here.
Yep.
Because yeah, you knock out the Cramorant, Comfey comes up, digs, can Piper can play the other Comfey, dig even a little bit deeper with that, and not have to like really burn much resources at all. Top deck's Thornton, so still no boss's orders. I'm gonna see a look into the deck here. Oh, there is no boss. It is Prize then.
I wonder if it's, yeah, prized in the Lost Zone, or we haven't seen it at this point. Yeah,
So I mean,
so
this works out great for Piper then. Just being able to cram spit and get more prizes here. No boss there.
yeah,
Oh, we could have
I'm
seen it
I'm
with the
wondering
heavy ball. I didn't
if
see
it
it
was
thoroughly though.
Lost Zoned at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
can't remember. Um, or
I
even
don't think it
played
was.
earlier. I don't think it was
I don't think it was
played.
played.
Um,
No, I don't remember seeing it get lost zone. So it might just be in those last two prize cards, which is kind of unfortunate here.
yeah,
Uh,
very unfortunate.
if it kind of just depends on the draws. If Jeremy drew into anything better here, we'll see.
Yeah, so the tricky thing here from Jeremy is that he has no more attackers.
Yeah,
Zacian V can't really attack because it loses to the Moltres.
yeah.
Ultra Ball is definitely helpful. Um, and then Mew EX couldn't, or the Celebrations Mew couldn't come active and then find an out to Curlia and then retreat because it's already got so much damage on it that Psychic Embrace wouldn't work. But we did see the rare candy from the last turn grabbed from the Mysterious Tail is now going to be combined with the Ultra Ball from this turn,
Hmm.
either from the top deck or the prize cards. And yeah, Shiny Arcana Gardevoir will be able to come up. And then Piper is probably going to have to respond to it with this Tropius, I'm guessing. Um, or yeah, escape rope, knock out the Mew with the Tropius. But she obviously needs to find another Mirage Gate to be able to do that. So just more things she has to find.
Well, it's just game at that point, right? If this attack
Oh yeah,
happens.
yeah, two prize cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Jeremy's already at two.
Yeah.
So I guess Iron Hands this
Yeah,
turn
the
is the
boss
only
isn't in there.
thing.
It must. That's super unfortunate because boss would have been absolutely essential here, and or it is absolutely essential here, and she just doesn't have access to it.
Yeah, it's possible that well, yeah, with this Iono, it becomes more difficult. The Thornton into Iron Hands on that Galarian Moltres
Right,
would have
right.
been possible.
That would have been
Now
very helpful. Yeah.
maybe she hits the like double gate after this super rod and gets the Iron Hands out somehow, but um, she did a perfect Colress to be able to do that because we already saw the Raihan get lost zoned at the start of this game.
Yeah, that's tough. A lot of the cards that she would have liked or just got Ionoed. Jeremy really thinking this out here and just trying to make sure not gonna throw away what should have been a very strong position very early in the game. Just trying to maximize his odds here. Gonna play down that fog crystal. See what he grabs here. There should be plenty of psychics still in the deck. Yeah, there's only 6 psychics in the discard right now. He really got stunted super hard by that Roxanne and just completely shut him down for like almost 2 turns, pretty much.
Yeah, but it looks like he's put together just enough pieces to get the attacker.
Mm-hmm.
That rare candy Gardevoir combo was huge. Finding those two pieces in that order. Because if Jeremy didn't have an attacker this turn, that would be game over, almost certainly.
Yeah.
But he's able to find the shiny Arcana, which is enough. So yeah, what what could Piper even draw here that works? I guess it'd be like yeah, top deck Colress would be nice into Colress hit like double Mirage Gate or double Mirage Gate Energy, and then concealed cards into. I'll play the Super Rod concealed cards into Iron Hands or Nest Ball or some way to get the knockout on the Gardevoir
Yeah.
with Iron Hands. Yeah, with the boss's orders prized, and then that counter catcher used to not take a two prize KO to just knock out the Curly, I think is uh, hurting Piper here. Yeah, I can't remember what was active at the end of. I guess yeah, it was the Scream Tail. So Piper had
Yeah.
the option to just Kramer at the Scream Tail and save the counter catcher for the Moltres knockout,
Yeah.
and she would have had it considering Jeremy would be able to draw a couple cards with refinement, so maybe that would have found an
Right,
Iono to
right.
put the
Yeah, who
counter
knows
catcher to
what
the
could have
bottom.
happened at that point.
Um, but yeah, two draws versus this line, which without the boss is like very difficult to get anywhere with.
For sure. We'll see if this Colress gets any or this Comfey gets anything. Does top deck the gate.
Top deck Mirage Gate is pretty good.
Thinking about playing the Super Rod just to shuffle the deck as well here. Is going to just take the energy, so no Thornton, but that does give her the option to Thornton into the Iron Hands. If, yeah, she's just going all in for it. Yep. And we'll see if she gets a Thornton right now, and that's just it.
Yeah. uh, Come on, Thornton.
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, all that Comfey sniping actually coming into play here.
Yeah.
Did actually matter because, 2 switch cards in hand and just have a couple more Comfeys and you can dig a little more. And that's going to be the end of round 1. It's going to go to the Shuffle Squad. Jeremy taking out Piper. very interesting game three. It's a game where, at the start of it, you were like, okay, this is probably going to be over. I don't know how Piper wins from here. And then Piper just nailing a key Roxanne and potentially having a pretty good chance if things just broke a little bit better for her.
Yeah, I think Jeremy kind of opened himself up to that play there on that turn
Hmm.
where had no draw engine established besides the one Curlia, and could get Roxanne and lose enough attackers where, and also putting that Gardevoir EX into play, which gave Piper at least the potential to get the Gust knockout on the Gardevoir EX with the Moltres. Whereas if he had instead just passed over the turn, let the Cramorant knock out the Gardevoir, save the Turo, importantly, so that Jeremy could get into a position where he has no Gardevoir EX in play, a big draw engine established, a lot of attackers, potentially even set up multiple attackers, and then pick up the Gardevoir EX out of play. Enough attackers for the rest of the game minus one turn. And then Piper would have had like no out there
Right.
besides like double. Well, I guess yeah, Iron Hands into Jeremy would have been able to take the initiative on knocking out the Moltres
Yeah.
with something like the counter catcher if he had fallen behind one more turn.
Hmm. Yeah, the counter catcher dynamics, especially in a matchup where both sides have it, just always make things really interesting. And just you can see Jeremy was just having to think so much more on a lot of his turns because of the kind of the pace of the game. We literally the timer like there's 10 minutes more on Piper's timer than Jeremy's at the end of that game, which is pretty funny and kind of a guardy moment, I guess.